In the Impact segment tonight, the Kelly File. As you may know, Miss Megyn anchored the Fox News election coverage along with Bret Baier, and FNC dominated the ratings. We beat everybody on Tuesday night. That means ABC, NBC, and CBS News all fell to the Fox News channel. CNN and MSNBC were so far behind it was stunning. Look at that. Look at those numbers. FNC's on like channel, that's her, that's Megyn. Come back to me. Fox News is on channel 38, 74, you know, these are like 2, 4, and 7. Yeah. We beat them. All right. So here now to explain the dominance, Megyn Kelly. I think it's all you. I think that's why, even though I was there and all the other contributors,
yes.
it really was all you.
We're on the same page there. It's clear. Yeah. No one else at Fox had anything to do with it. You know, it's actually kind of funny because the truth is, Bret and I that night and our correspondents and our panel are the face of the coverage, right? That's who the people see. But if our viewers had any idea how many people went into putting on that broadcast and trying to make it shine, you'd be stunned.
The viewers know that
well,
there's
you
people.
don't know everything about every race. I mean, every single House race. There are people there working on
giving
cars
you information.
You know, the brain room, 411-page briefing book that we study, and so on.
Now,
and so forth.
That was the first time you did that. Okay, was there any? Were you panicking or anything? Were you a little nervous?
No, I have to say that was my first night in the big chair on a big night like that.
Right.
I mean, I've played a supporting role.
You weren't.
Well, I have to tell you, I thought I'd be nervous because before I've had big anchor gigs like this on big nights, even when I was doing a supporting role and Britt Hume was in the main chair, I felt a little nervous. But this is the first time I didn't feel nervous at all. I think it's just a matter of repetition. You know, you do a couple hours a day.
Was there anything in the
live
evening
TV
that you got wrong or you screwed up on that you went, oh my God? Any of that?
Not that I know
you were
of.
perfect?
No.
Little Miss Perfect, huh?
I don't know. At one point I was mentioning Mike Beebe and I said Mike Huckabee, which was wrong. But it's live TV.
Dana Milbank, you know that's Pinhead from Washington Post?
I'm familiar.
Yeah, he doesn't like you.
He's a big Fox fan.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't like anybody at Fox, but he doesn't like you.
Yeah.
And he said there were no Democrats except for shown on the, you know, we took them apart last night for that. Yeah. It was an outright lie.
It really was.
And would you put Fred Hyatt's picture up on the screen here? You know, Milbank, we know. This is the editor, Milbank's editor, Fred Hyatt.
Yeah.
And Fred won't do anything about Milbank lying in his column. I just want everybody in America to know what the Washington Post has come to. All right, you can take Fred's picture off. Fred, have a nice weekend, buddy. Now, you apparently, when Barney Frank won, according to Milbank, I didn't see this, said, alas.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yes, this is what happened.
Yes.
Let me tell you exactly what I said. I said this is the first time since 1982 that Barney Frank has faced any sort of a legitimate challenge. Sean Beelat, the challenger, who I had interviewed, was an Iraq war veteran who spent his life post-Iraq devoting himself to trying to come up with ways to fight IEDs to protect the lives of our soldiers on the ground before he made his bid for public office. Alas, it was not to be.
So you didn't say it was alas that Barney won. You said it was alas, it was not to be.
That's exactly what I said. So that's his evidence of my bias.
So he took that and he twisted it around.
Are you surprised?
Well, I think you and I should go and beat him up.
Listen, I mean, with all due respect to Dana Milbank.
No. He doesn't deserve. No, that's true. And the audience feels the same way you do. And you don't need to say with all due respect. He doesn't deserve any. It's not him saying what he said. It's the Washington Post allowing it. Don't you see that?
Well, listen.
The Washington Post is a very prestigious newspaper in this country, like it or not.
But he's an opinion guy.
It doesn't matter. When you give an opinion, it can't be based on a lie, and you can't be taking things out of context like Media Matters does.
Well, listen, the very fact that he cites Media Matters as one of his sources undermines his entire piece.
I have been writing a column for 30 years. I would be fired by my syndicator if I did what he did.
Yeah.
Creators. They would fire me.
Well, listen, I mean, when somebody missteps, especially when it comes to any sort of speech or expression of opinion, the answer is to have more speech and more expression of opinion.
I'm not trying to muzzle the guy,
but
the
viewers
what
now
he did,
know whether that piece was accurate.
And the viewers made their call on election night, and we beat everybody.
And let me just point out the other example, because I actually personally got a kick out of this. His other example of my alleged bias. His only other example was, and keep in mind, this is a 6-hour broadcast, okay? So this is what he comes away with, is the fact that when one race was particularly tight in which a Democrat was projected to have been losing, and it wound up tighter than expected, I stated, this is interesting. You got me there!
Oh, he's just a great guy. All right, now look, real quick, 90 seconds. In Oklahoma, they had a proposition that we don't in Oklahoma ever want Sharia law. shockingly, it passed.
That the courts may not consider or use either Sharia law or international law.
Just what I said is what the proposition was. Now, a Muslim guy is suing the state of Oklahoma because that was even on the ballot, correct?
The local CARE guy, Council on American Islamic Relations, is going to sue. Number one, he doesn't have standing to sue until something bad happens to him. Number two, he's trying to stop it from ever actually getting onto the Constitution, becoming, they don't want that.
They passed, so they don't want it incorporated into the state.
That's not the way it works. So the lawsuit's not going anywhere. But I have to say, as a practical matter, saying that the courts can't consider any international law is not going to work. You got a couple that gets married in Canada, comes down here, one party says the marriage isn't valid. You got to look to Canadian law to figure out whether it was valid.
Would you have to look to Sharia law, though, which is not?
Well, that's a separate portion.
But that's what it was.
That could also cause some problems because, listen, I completely get what they're going for. They don't want husbands to be able to say, I raped my wife and I was allowed to because Sharia law says which happened recently in New Jersey. A court did that. It was overruled. So that's what they're going for. But we don't have to worry about that in this country because we always have what's called a public policy out when we're faced with that kind of thing. If Sharia law says you can rape your husband if you're a man and she's a woman because you're married, our public policy in America doesn't allow that, so we don't have to enforce that law.
Does Sharia law say we can behead Dana Milbank?
I think
that was a joke for you Media Matters people out there, because you're going to know that O'Reilly says we want to behead Dana.
Why do you even pay any attention to them? Who cares about them?
Here's why, because I attack corruption at all levels, Kelly. You know that's what I do.
I know, but you're just giving them attention. Does anybody care what they think?
Okay,
anybody?
Kelly, you know the bigger picture. Don't give me any of this. Megyn Kelly, everybody, there she is, major star now that we won the ratings in the election.
Well, you always say you're the one who's making me a major star. You always take the credit for that. Now you're giving it to the channel.
And that's right. I'm giving it to you. I'm spreading the credit around.
That's
Kelly.
not very unlike you.
All right.